Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to dive deeper into a comparison between two popular business laptops from HP, that is HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2 versus the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3. Yeah, this is how they look like. So whether you're looking to upgrade or you're looking to purchase one, in this video you're going to cover all the details you need so as to make an informed decision. And just before I dive into the most precious part of this video, I really appreciate the support that you've been giving me on this account up to today, the whole year. And if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, why don't you hit on the bell icon, subscribe guys, for more content, because I usually update a new review video every Monday and Friday on this account. So first things first, as usual, let's have a look at the body cover, body material, the weight, and the other stuffs. And as you can see right here on the table, this is HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2 and this is the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3. Right away you can see there's a difference in the color of the casing. And on the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2 we have, it's a magnesium alloy, still metallic, yes, this is how it looks like, but it is black in color with that silver finishing right here, just a small silver lining for the finishing. But the body is still metallic, and then we have a rubber lining on top for the top cover. So the advantage of this rubber lining is that it's easier to clean off any stains like fingerprint, but again the disadvantage is that you can see, even just from far look, there are fingerprints all over. So we have the disadvantage of the fingerprint, but again it's easier to clean off any scratches from it. But for the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3 right here, it has that smooth silver line and silver coated finish, magnesium alloy casing still, yeah. The bottom cover is black, as similar to the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2, but still it's metallic, yeah. Now the only disadvantage with this silver lining here, the silver casing for the HP 820 G3, is that it easily gets scratched. You can see we have a scratch right here because I'm using a refurbished one to compare. These ones I've received from you here, my friends here on YouTube. I'm really grateful, and they said that I shouldn't mention their names, but I'm so grateful for them for providing me these laptops to just to expound or even to differentiate what's the difference between them, yeah. So that's the only disadvantage of the casing right there. And as usual, let's have a look at the thickness of the two laptops. So right away you realize that the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3 is a bit thinner compared to the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2. This is how this side looks like. And in terms of weight, there's a small difference of around 0.2 kilograms. That's around 200 grams between these two laptops. The HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3 is around 1.33 kilograms, while this is around 1.53 kilograms. And that difference is brought about by some of the things that we're going to realize in the next part of this video. But generally, HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3 is lighter. In terms of port, as usual, let's have a look at the ports on the right hand side. So this is how the ports are. Remember the one on top, this is the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3. And then this is HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2. So first things first, from the charging port, you see there's a difference. For the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2, the charging port was the HP big pin charger that looks like this. Yeah, so this is the charger for the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2. It goes in through there. While on the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G3, they decided to use the blue pin charger for HP. See, I don't know why they decided to do that. Maybe some expert will tell us in the comment section, but there's a difference there in form of the charger. Next we have the docking stations right here, so they both have it. On the 820 G3 we have a SIM card slot. This is a SIM card slot for the HP 820 G3. I'll explain to you more about it in the next part of this video. But for the HP ELITEBOOK 820 G2, we can't see any SIM card slot right here, but still it supports SIM card features. And I'll show you where the SIM card is right there. So we have the SIM card port right here. Then we have RJ45, same. We have two USB 3.0 ports right here. On the HP A20G3, we have a single USB 3.0 port here. We have audio jack, display port. Remember, they don't come with HDMI ports, this HP ELITEBOOK A20 series. They don't have HDMI port, but instead they have display ports. Then we have audio jack microphone combo right here. Yeah, there's just a small difference in the positioning, but it's the same. One interesting thing about the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 right here is that we have a USB-C port here. This USB-C port has so many advantages because 1, you can use it to transfer data. 2, you can use a charging port for your, let's say, a mobile phone. If you have a mobile phone that is Type-C, that uses Type-C charger, so you can just put the Type-C cable here and then get the charger to your phone, and it can charge your phone even when the laptop is on standby mode or when it's off. Yeah, again, you can use this port as a display port. Again, it is also a high speed data transfer port compared to the other ports, so it's so advantageous, the Type-C port. Yeah, on this other side, the left hand side, there's no much difference. You have similar amount of ports. You have the VGA port right here for those who have external monitors. Then you have USB 3.0 ports. Then you have smart card reader port right here. I know most of you rarely use these ports right here. We have ventilations on this other side. I know most of you might be wondering why the ventilations are placed on this side. It's because let's assume that you have your laptop on the table and you're using a mouse with it. I'm going to use unfortunately I don't have a mouse, so let's assume this hard disk is a mouse. For the right-handed person, most of the time you usually use your mouse on this side. So it means even when you're using your mouse on the table this side, you won't get affected by the heat dissipated from the laptop because the cooling or the ventilations are on this other side. So that's why they're mostly placed on the left-hand side of your laptop. If you didn't know that, that is. So much has been said. Remember, I've not shown you where the SIM card slot is on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2, and I'll show you in the next few steps of this video. So as usual, let's have a look at the interior or the keyboard part of these two laptops. So this is HP ELITEBOOK A20G2, HP ELITEBOOK A20G3. From a far look or a closer look, there's no much difference on the keyboard design, and I can just say that from the feel on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 is greater compared to the one on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2. This is a bit stiff, but this is stiff but yet so smooth. Yeah, the travel distance is just as okay. No much difference on the trackpad designs. You see we have two click pads on top, two at the bottom, just the same here, but maybe you'll see any other difference when the laptop is on. And remember, the machines that I have here, they're of different processor types. This is Core i5 and then this is Core i7, and for the speakers, they both have upward firing speakers. You have two buttons here. This is for microphone, for muting the speakers. So maybe let's say you are in a place where you want to mute your laptop instantly, so just click on this to mute it. Then you have the hotspot button right here. These are features that were removed on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3. I don't know why, but again, it doesn't matter because most of you you rarely use these buttons. Then you have the power buttons, almost similar positions. They just decided to remove it. HP ELITEBOOK A20G2, we had the power button right here, but they decided to shift it away from this point, from the hinge up to somewhere inside or around the middle of the laptop. You see where it is? I don't know once again why they decided to do that, but that's a difference. In terms of the screen, the frames are the same. The thickness of the bezel is just the same. There's no much difference. Yeah, and you can see here you have the labeling of the laptop. We have Bang & Olufsen here. This Bang & Olufsen, it's a company that supports or that designs the speakers for the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 and other HP ELITEBOOK series and other HP laptops. And they usually design very nice speakers with crispy sounds. So in terms of speakers, expect the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 to perform much better than the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2, because they were using the Realtek speakers, just the normal speakers. But on the HP A20G3, some advanced speakers. We have the camera slots right here, and then we have microphone, dual microphone that is on top here, similar to the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3. Those microphones have noise cancelling features. Therefore, if you're using the laptop for Zoom meetings and other stuffs, you'll have a proper or clear voice being translated to the other person on side of, for the meeting purposes, that is. Let's just turn them on as usual and have a countdown at how fast they turn on. So we'll use a heartbeat if possible. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it took like for the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 it only took 8 seconds to boot, while the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2 took 16 seconds to boot. That is half the speed. So let me just improve the brightness on this one so that you get to see the properties. Yeah, and from the display you can see there's not much difference in the display, only that HP ELITEBOOK A20G2 comes with a display of lower brightness levels, that is around 250 nits, while the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 has 300 nits of brightness levels, so it's much brighter compared to the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2. Another thing is these laptops, depending on which one you buy or where you buy it from, the screen resolutions are always different, so you have to be keen on that depending on your needs. The ones that I have here have a screen resolution of HD, that is 1366 by 768, and if you want to confirm that, just come to the display settings right here, display settings, and you can see we have 1366 by 768, yeah, right there, similar to the one on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3. And you have other models, other laptops of the same model, that is HP ELITEBOOK A20G3, G2, with full HD screen resolution and also QHD screen resolution only on HP ELITEBOOK A20G3, depending on what you'll want. I was forgetting to talk about some of the things on the keyboard. It's unfortunate that the keyboards of these HP ELITEBOOK A20G2 and G3 that I have here, they don't have backlight, but that doesn't mean that they don't come with backlights. It all depends once again from where you buy it or on the one that you get to purchase. But remember, they have other versions, that is optionals, ones that have backlight keyboards. And if you want to know yours has a backlight keyboard, just look for a backlight icon on the keyboard and then you'll be able to turn on the backlights. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that the ones that I have here don't have backlight, but if you want one with backlight, be assured that you'll get one, because they do come with other versions that have backlight keyboard. Straight, let's get to have a look at the internal features of these two machines. And once again, if you want to have a look at the internal features, just go Windows X, then go to System to see the internal features, or to get a clear look at all the details, just use Control Shift Escape. Then you'll get to the Task Manager. Once you're in the Task Manager, come to the Performance tab here. Yeah, again on this side, Control Shift Escape, Remember, I'm running Windows 11 on both these laptops. Yeah, but by default for the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2, it comes with Windows 10, the highest that it can support, while the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 can support Windows 11. That is without any tweaking. Yeah, HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2 still supports Windows 11, but you'll have to tweak it and remove some of the things so that it can be able to install Windows. You can be able to install Windows 11 on this HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2, but for the G3, it's just automatic. So let's have a look at the features, comparison of the specs, internal specs, properties of these two laptops. Yes. So first thing first, the CPU. For the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2, we have here, the one that I'm using has a Core i5 5th generation. You can see it's a 5th gen, base speed of 2.3 gigahertz. Yeah, and you can see here we have cores. The number of cores is 2 cores. Then we have 4 logical processors. Yeah, the difference with that is on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 that I have, it comes with a Core i7 processor, 6th generation. We have a base speed of 2.1 gigahertz right there. The number of cores is 2 and 4 logical processors. So these two laptops might be different in generation. They use different type of processors. On the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3, we have a Broadwell processor, G2 sorry, a Broadwell processor, while the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2, we have a Skylake processor. So the number of cores is the same because we have 2 cores here, 2 cores there. We have 4 logical processors here, 4 logical processors there. So there's no much difference in terms of the processor performance, only that on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3, the processor is a bit advanced, so it means it's more efficient as compared to the one on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2. Yeah, if you had these two laptops of the same processor, let's say Core i5, because this one is Core i7, so if you have both of them at Core i5, there wouldn't be much difference because you can see the number of the number of cores is the same. They're both dual core, 2 cores, then you have 4 logical processors. No much difference, despite them being 1 generation apart. So there's no much difference there. Only that, remember, efficiency on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 is much higher or better compared to the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2. Memory, we have, let's compare the memories. So again, you see for the memories, we have 8 GB of RAM installed right here on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2. Yeah, we have number of slots used. We have 2 slots, 2 out of 2 slots used. So on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2, we have 2 RAM slots and 2 of them are in use, meaning it has 4 RAM and another one 4 RAM. Therefore, it means on these slots you can upgrade the RAM to 16 GB, that is 8 GB RAM on this side, 8 GB RAM on this side. But I'll show you another difference between the RAM of these two laptops in the next part of this video once again, when I open the back cover or the bottom cover. On the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3, you can see here, for the RAM, we have the number of slots used is 1 out of 2, meaning we have a single RAM here and the other slot is empty. You can have 8 GB of RAM on one slot, 8 GB of RAM on another, that makes it 16 GB of RAM. Or you can get 16 GB of RAM, 16 times 2, that can upgrade it up to 32 GB of RAM. Because again, there's a crucial detail that I'll show you when you open the back cover of these laptops concerning the RAM. Then in terms of RAM speed, we have, you can see here we have a RAM speed of 2133 megahertz speed. So the RAM are so fast. Disk type, we have an SSD SanDisk of 256 GB on this one. SSD, you can see the type is SSD. While for the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2 disk, we have a SanDisk SSD of 128 gigahertz. You can see 128 GB, sorry, it's SSD 128. I'll show you some other things when you open the back cover. Wi-Fi, remember the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 uses an advanced form of Wi-Fi card, network card, compared to the one on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3. So if you're using a Wi-Fi that is of high speed, you'll notice so much difference in performance in the HP ELITEBOOk A20 G3 compared to the HP ELITEBOOk A20 G2. But if your Wi-Fi is just normal then you won't notice a difference. Yeah. Again, let me show you something just before we get to the bottom cover of this part, because I know you're so interested in that. And you see right here, if you come to this part for Wi-Fi connection, you'll see here we have insert SIM card. This is so special about this HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2 G3 series 840. Yeah, there's something on a laptop that if you have, you'll have this being displayed on your laptop. I'll show you in the next part of this video. I know they're getting so many things that I'm about to show you in the next part, but just bear with me. See, we have insert SIM card there. On this HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3, again, we have here, right there, insert SIM card. So what is that? Because the laptop that you might be having right now doesn't have that, but for the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 that I have and HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2, they have that. So first thing first, because I can easily access the bottom cover or the back components of the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2, I'm going to start with it first. So first thing first, if you want to get access to the things underneath this cover, just slide this backwards, yeah, until you see this red part, and then you slide this bottom cover forward like this. Yeah, okay, so once you're there, we have access to the motherboard, to the back cover components. You see we have two memory slots right here. This is the RAM, this is of 4 GB and this 4 GB. You can upgrade this to 8 to make it 16 GB of RAM. Then we have Wi-Fi card right here. We have this very crucial component. Now this is the IMEI, or this is the LTE network card that converts or enables your laptop to be used somehow like a phone, because now it is the one that configures the SIM card features to enable you to use network even from your SIM card, and you can even make calls on your laptop if you have this component right here. This is a Wi-Fi card, network card, LTE 4G network card. So where do you insert SIM card on this? This is the battery right here for this HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2. We have an SSD right here, 2.5 SATA. You can also replace it with a hard disk. This is the size, yeah. So that is how it looks like. So remember, we don't have an M2 slot here for SSD on this HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 as compared to H20 G2, sorry, as compared to the 20 G3, which I'm going to show you later. So if you want to remove the battery right here, just slide this at the bottom like this, slide it backwards, yeah. So you remove the battery, and then right here we have a SIM card slot. So instead of having it placed here as we had right here, as we had on the HP A20 G3, it has been placed right here. So this is where you place your SIM card, and then you enable the SIM card capabilities of your laptop. So this is the fan, and if it's dirty, you can be able to clean it here with a brush. So it's easy to access it on the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G2. Let me just put back the battery so that you get to see what the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 bears for us on the motherboard. So place it back like that, then slide it in like that, then you seal it that way. That way you will seal the back cover, the bottom cover of the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3. So now the disadvantage with this HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 is to access the bottom or the motherboard components. In case of emergency, you'll have to have a screwdriver to remove all these screws right here. There's around 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. You have around 11 screws at the bottom cover to remove so that you can access the other parts. There's something interesting about these bottom covers. You can see we have ventilation slots right here for proper ventilation or cooling of the laptop. Again, the HP A20 G3, they decided to make that ventilation closer to one another. It's funny that they have similar dimension here, but they decided to maybe move this on this side and leave this side. I don't know if it was by design or to enhance efficiency, but I feel the ventilation of the HP ELITEBOOK A20 G3 is much better, because having them closer here enhances ventilation, makes the ventilation port for inflow of air so big, and then you have the outflow of air out through this port. So let me just remove the screws for a minute, then you get to see. So yes, this is the bottom cover of the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3. This is how it looks like. We have a big battery here. Yeah, the battery is inbuilt because you have to remove the bottom cover to access it. We have the fan here. You can see how this one dusty is. It will need some cleaning, maintenance. Again, we have the network card here. Yeah, almost the same to the one that we had in the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2 right here. Almost similar network card. It's only that this one is so advanced compared to the one on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2. Yeah, we have the Wi-Fi card here. We have the memory card slot right here. See, so this memory, it's of 8 GB PC4. Yeah, but on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2 it has a the memory here is PC3, so it's DDR3, while here we have DDR4, and DDR4 is usually much more advanced and better in terms of speed as compared to the DDR2. So that's why you find this HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 being much faster compared to the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2, despite the fact that they both have SSDs. Yeah, because we have high speed memory right here. And the advantage of the PC4 is that you have a 16 GB of it, so you can upgrade this machine to 16 GB up to 32 GB of RAM as compared to the HP A20G2, where you can only upgrade it to 16 GB because we have the highest here RAM is being 8 GB, the highest RAM 8 GB, so that's 16 GB of RAM. Again, we have this gadget right here. This is the M2 SSD. Yeah, instead of having the SATA right here, you have the M2 SSD. Again, this machine is somehow, we call it hybrid. You can use a hard disk beneath this SSD here, and you also have a SSD, all of them at the same time, which was not possible with the HP A20G2, because you'll have to remove this to replace it with another one of higher version or even different model. But right here it supports the M2 and also the SSD, the hard disk or SATA type of SSD that goes through this slot right there. So I know you're asking yourself, what next after all those detailed comparisons of the ports, the parts and other stuff? What about the performance? What can you do with these two laptops? So generally, or basically these two laptops, we realize that they have the same number of cores, the same number of logical processors. That is, they have 2 cores and 4 logical processors. So that means, despite them being 2 generations apart, they have almost similar strength. And then in terms of graphics card, they have no dedicated graphic card, but they have integrated graphic card. That is a graphic card that comes embedded in the processor. So that is an integrated graphic card. So as for the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3, it has an integrated graphic card of Intel HD 520, while the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2 has an integrated graphics of Intel HD 5500. The Intel HD 520 might be a bit modern compared to the HD 5500, but in terms of performance, the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2 integrated graphics performs much better compared to the one that we have on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3. That is because it allows usage of more power, which has been limited on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3. They've limited the power usage on this so as to make it more efficient, because one thing with these modern laptops is that they're trying to make them as power efficient as possible. Again, in terms of battery life, these two laptops can last up to about 7 to 8 hours, but you expect the battery on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 to last much longer because it has a better processor, yeah, that has high power efficiency. That means that the power consumption will be lower on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 as compared to the HP ELITEBOOK A20G2. So the battery on the HP ELITEBOOK A20G3 will last much longer. Basically, these laptops, 2 of them, you can use them for office work. That's why they're business laptops, like Microsoft Office, browsing, and generally the office tasks. Yeah, you can also use them for gaming, but light games, not heavy duty games, because they're not meant for gaming at all. Yeah. As for engineering students, you can also use these machines because they have sufficient RAM capabilities. By default, they have 8 GB of RAM, but you can upgrade them. For the HP 20G2, we realize that you can upgrade it to 16. 820G3, you can upgrade it to 32 GB of RAM. So they have sufficient amount of RAM. For multimedia purposes and even video editing, they can also perform better, apart from rendering, which they'll be a bit slower. But for business purposes, be assured that you have a great machine on your hands. I don't know about you, but let me know in the comment section which one you'll go for, and any other question that you have in the comment section, I'll be glad to answer them. Yeah. Once again, don't forget to leave a like to this video if you found it so helpful, and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, because on this account we do update a video every Monday and Friday for latest reviews on tech and comparison of these laptops. Why don't you meet on the next one?